Welcome back to Career Build Series 2023. This is episode number 20, and so we're going to start working on the new Seaplane first off. And so I did a little bit of work off screen installing a glitch. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you how nice and high this is sitting in the water. So I actually made the hips more narrow, and you see how nice and high this is sitting in the water. So I did the rocket booster glitch, and so let's go ahead and look at it. And so this is kind of the new pivot glitch. And so you see I have a couple rocket, I probably shouldn't have touched them, but I have a couple rocket motors here. And so what I usually do is I'll take you through it and I'll show you what I do, but I generally will go to 99%. And that just makes it easy. It's easy to search for search for that number. It'll be 0.99. So I usually just stick them at 0.99, and then I'll go ahead and I'll open up the XML for the vehicle. All right, the next thing I'll do is I'll open up the XML for the vehicle. So I put those in, I'd save it, and I generally do 0.99. And so I didn't save that vehicle, so you won't see it here. But what you can do is if you look here, you can search for a couple things. One thing you could search for is rocket. So again, I only have 2 rocket nozzles, so that makes it pretty easy. If you go over here to, if I don't keep, here, let me search it. So just search for, I'll search for rocket, make it easier. All right, so bring you to the string here, and you see it says rocket nozzle small. This is the dimensions of it. And then you have fuel factor. Fuel factor is what you're going to be doing. If you put a negative fuel factor, it is essentially giving it negative weight, which is giving it anti-gravity, essentially. So it's like an anti-gravity generator. And so the normal one goes from 0 to 1. So when I put 99% there, that will be 0.99. And so you could look for that. It'll say 0.99. And then you have to play with the numbers. Like I just put 4 of them in a tanker that holds like 400,000, almost 500,000 liters of oil. And with 4 of those, I'm able to have that have accurate buoyancy. And that has, I think, I set the number to 10,000. This has negative 1,000. So you have to play with the numbers. I also just made a tiny little hand crank boat that I think the number was 30. So you have to play with these numbers. So I have 2 at the wings, right at the center of gravity, that have negative 1,000. Then I actually have one on the tail that has a negative 200. So that was just balancing. So essentially I'm putting in anti-gravity where it needs to be to try to get more realistic buoyancy, which, you know, some people will call it a cheat, but again, the game has different buoyancy to what we experience in real life. And so, because the game has different buoyancy to what we experience in real life, the issue we will often get is that we have to make things more bulbous in order to hold more air in there and to get more buoyancy. So, this is kind of a workaround for that. All right, so as you can see there, I have 2 there. All they're doing is giving me anti-gravity, essentially. And then I have 1 in the tail here to give me a nice balanced airframe, and that puts everything where I want it. So that's pretty much all that is doing, is giving me some negative, essentially some anti-gravity. Like I said, I think that's probably the best way to think about it. I'm probably gonna have to move them and change them anyway. But so let's go ahead and look at it, and you'll notice how much better it floats. It floats realistically. So what I'm doing, I see I screwed it up because so that's what it looks like if I don't do that. And then if we go ahead and do it, I'll open up the save that has it. Where are we at here? Right. Nope, that's the wrong one. I also did this glitch on my tanker. My tanker needed 65 pivots for the pivot glitch. And now with 4 rocket boosters, I can do the same thing. So you see we're sitting up nice and perfectly in the water there. So that's good. So we're in good shape here. So this is sitting where it should be. This is going to help us a lot so we don't dive into the water as we're trying to take off. So let's go ahead, and I need to move these wings. So I want to move them down a little bit. Hopefully I don't screw with the rockets. I can't move the rockets once they're in place. If I touch them, I have to go in and re-XML them. So it's not a big deal. I just have to go in and edit them again. So I'm going to cut this wing. This wing should actually go down. The motor, the engine nacelle is actually higher on this one than it. Again, I'm using the Dornier Sea Star as kind of my inspiration, but again, it's not a replica. It's just an inspired build, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it will also be nice to get my center of lift a little bit lower here. So that's going to go there. All right, perfect. All right, maybe not so perfect. I got to paste it first. Okay, good. So let's go ahead, and I have to re-adhere these here. So this will actually work out well here. This is now 4. Do I have symmetry on? I don't. Let's turn that on. And so I should be able to get I'm going to have to move those rockets, so I will have to redo it. But I did the testing, the testing of it to make sure I know what numbers I need. So, a lot of people call this cheating or whatever, but, again, we're trying to work within the constraints that the game has given us. The game has given us buoyancy that is not what we're used to on Earth. I kind of think of it kind of like how I think about it in Kerbal Space Program, is it's not our world. Things are going to be different, but, I can see it's frustrating. People trying to build replicas, and they struggle with that, and, so not only having to figure out, the engineering, which a lot of people's engineering is, sometimes not great, they also have to try to extrapolate what this world's, physics is like, so certainly understandable. And so these things are making it more realistic, frankly. All right, good. So wing is re-adhered, so we're going to have our engine nacelle up top, so that's looking good there. So for right now, these, what did I put in there for a number? These are negative 10,000, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open up, and I'll check it again. Okay, so I just looked them up. So these two are negative 1,000. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete them, and I'll redo them, and you guys can even see me actually do it. So, all right, so we have our engines where I want them. Center of gravity is not exactly at the center of lift. That is perfectly fine, and I'm going to tell you why. The wings will give us some lift, but the thing that gives us the most lift is actually going to be the control surfaces. And so when I cut in control surfaces, we don't necessarily really have a good dynamic center of lift that actually we can visually see. So what we end up getting here is, as things like flaps come in, as control surfaces come in, that is where you're getting most of your lift, is from these control surfaces. And so if you understand that, as I put my control surfaces on, I'm actually moving the center of lift backwards. And so this is now dragging my center of lift back towards that center of gravity. So in a real aircraft, you're talking generally around the middle of the wing, typically, basically, somewhat, Actually, I just screwed those up. Let's undo those really quick. And so, that's generally where your center of gravity is on this. As I add these control surfaces, it's dragging my center of gravity back. Now, we also have this tail plane. So this is adding lift back here. So our center of gravity is already dragged back. So we actually might need to move this center, our center of lift is already dragged back. We might actually have to move the center of gravity forward when all is said and done. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So that's testing to know, what we have to do with that. Just a bunch of tests. I'm trying to think if I want this wing 1 or 2 thick. I think 2 thick is too much. Let me see. So let me cut a layer really quick. I want to see if I want to cut this. I do, I think. That, I think, is what I want to do. I just want to make sure. I'm going to run into issues here, which I should be able to fix. I'm just kind of talking out loud because what I need to do is I'm going to want to put in my navigation lights here. And so it's actually pretty simple. I'll just go like this, and that will square up the wing a little bit. And now I can put on nav lights right there. Still looks pretty good there. And so that cuts the wing down, and I actually want to drop this. Do I want to drop this? What do I have? One more slot there? I think I do want to drop the wing 1. So let's drop the wing by 1 again. Did I put one over here? Let's see. So I'm going to put this control surface back at the top of the wing like so. We'll copy it, and we'll put one on the other side. These are going to be my flaps. And so one thing I often have to do is anti-flaps. I will show you how I do those, and so the whole point is, let's say the center of gravity is where it's supposed to be, right here. Well, as I add lift here, it's going to try to pick the tail up, and I'm going to have a a nose down attitude as I'm approaching. That's incorrect to real life. In real life, you have a nose up attitude. And so I do that with anti-flaps. As the flaps come in, I actually add anti-flaps, which cause, as this adds lift, I actually take away the lift, and that gives me drag. So I have two control surfaces work in opposition. That gives me a lot of drag. That's how it is in real life. And so that tends to be what I do. And I'll do that on this as well. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and let's grab this whole wing, and I will lower it again. So I like this wing to be a little bit lower. Initially, I was going to put fuel in the wing. I think what I'm going to do is put it in the hips. I think that is going to be a better choice. It's going to, and part of that is for stability on the water. And so when I'm sitting on the water, as you notice, I don't have pontoons out on the wings, and I don't want pontoons. I kind of like this no pontoon setup. And so in order to accomplish that, I need to get the center of gravity as low as I can get it. And so one of the ways is to use fuel as a ballast to drag the center of gravity down. That's going to give me stability while I'm sitting on the water. All right, you go down one. Perfect. So now we're starting to set this up nicely here. I think the wings are at a good height. We have the nacelles. I'm going to bring up the Sea Star just as kind of reference material again. It's not a copy of it, but I like a lot of shapes of that. All right, so looking at the Sea Star, I think this is a good setup. Again, I'm limited by the propeller diameter to where this can actually go, so it kind of has to go right here. So that's fine. I'm liking that height on it anyway. That will actually allow me to give a little bit of curvature underneath the nacelle, which is how it is IRL. So let's go ahead, and I'm reasonably plumbed up on these, so I'm going to start to kind of design around these and make a nacelle here. The nacelle is just pretty much the covering. All right. So I'm just kind of working, we'll just kind of try to get the detailing of the covering here of how this is going to work. Don't want this too wide. I think doing like a 2x here is going to be just too wide. And it's going to square it up a little bit more than I like. You see that's making it, oh, that's not right. It puts the wall in the correct place, but then as you can see, it's very squared there. So let's try doing, if I do it like this, it's also not my favorite, doing it with 1x's like that. I think I do like this a little bit better though. So we'll work with this. We'll see where we get. And then this will also give me good space in there. A little bit of room around it. Not really all that keen on this shape here, so let's see what I can do. Trying to come up with some design choices here too. So the bottom I can live with, and then the top I want to make a little bit different. So try 1x2 wedges here. And then I will keep a little bit of headroom. There's actually a little bit of extra height on this for the Sea Star. That's kind of like that shape there. Again, just kind of do general shaping here, trying to make sure, I don't want to make any big shaping changes. That's pretty good there. It seems like it's maybe one block too tall, but I'm trying to think if I want to change it at all. So the other choice is this, is to put on 1x2s like this, and to flatten the top a little bit like that, and to kind of squish it. I accidentally put double blocks in there. I don't want to do that. There we go. That's not too bad. If I can get the angles right to finish it, and then it has like an air intake here, so see if I can get some sort of air intake in there. Let's grab some 1x2 pyramids. See if I can't join all this up. Just want to get some nacelle shaping in there. So let's see what I can do here. Oh, grab the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so I'm digging that shape there. That's working for me. All right. Yeah, so I'm liking that. That's looking pretty good there. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's working out for me. Nice. Yeah, so I like that. I'm digging that. That looks pretty good. I'll put some flourishes and stuff on there. And then maybe, let's try something here. Also, this will give me a little bit more space in the nacelle so that I'm not so crammed trying to get connections made, and I have to run pipe through here. The nice thing is I can run a lot of pipe down, straight down, which isn't too bad. But we'll see how this kind of fleshes out. I don't know if this is going to match up nicely here. We'll see. No, definitely not. What can I fit there? That turns into 1x2 blocks, so that doesn't really match up all that well. Could go, you know what I can do is if I like that bottom shape, which I'm not really, I don't know, not really thrilled with it. Let's do this. Let's try something here and see if I can get it to kind of behave a little bit more how I want it to be. That's not bad for a bottom shape there. Let's run that, see what that looks like. A little bit square on the sides than I'd like, but it's going to be hard kind of mating it up using different sizes. Try not to make it too boxy right there. It's not terrible. I really don't hate it. You know, I can always change it and redo it later, so. Try not, you know, I'm trying to fight the urge to get it perfect the first time. Can always go back and work on it. There we go. And I'll reorient the propellers when I get an opportunity to do it. What are we looking at here? So what did I pull? Just the gearboxes, huh? What do I have here? I have all the way to the clutch. So, oh, I didn't put a clutch on here, so that would be why this is off center. Okay, good. All right, so there we go. That is kind of our engine nacelle. I can play with that, try to put some flourishes, some detailing on there, an intake on there. That will help to kind of make this a little bit less heinous. Okay, good. So that's in there. And so the wing on the Sea Star continues across. And then I'll end up mating this up to the engine nacelle. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's straighten up, fly right there, guy. All right, so one thought is to raise the wing up a level, which I think I might do. The Sea Star has a higher wing on there. Let's see, where would we have to go to here? Let's try raising the wing up a little bit. All right. And when I raise the wing, it's going to cut what it needs to. I didn't really need to cut everything there. I'm just going to... Because I think the wing is a little bit low at the moment as well, so... Can't go down any lower on the engine nacelle, and the wing seems a little bit low to me. It's 1. Can we go up 2? That looks pretty good right there. Can I mate this up and make it look good? What are we looking at there? If I go up 2. 2 looks a little bit too PBY Catalina, so I think 1 is going to be the ticket there. I don't want it too high. I do not. Not too huge of a fan of it kind of being that angled there. So what I think I'm going to do is grab this like so, cut that, move that up 1, and then do straights underneath it. I think that's a better look. So again, just trying to get these dynamics kind of right, and then I have to go from there. All right, so that's looking pretty good there, and then I just have to try to find a good way to mate this up here. All right, and that mates up like that. That's not too bad. All right, so I'm digging that. Some decorating definitely can be done on the nacelle to make it look a little bit less boxy, but that's looking pretty well. Looking pretty good there. So that's actually 2 blocks. I can only really go down 1 there. That's not going to work if I try to do that. All right, so that is pretty good there. Just kind of giving it the kind of last little look over. All right, so that's pretty good. I like that. That setup's nice. All right, so we have our flaps in there. Let's go ahead and put some ailerons on. So the further out, the longer the torque arm you have on this for your ailerons. So the further you put them out, the more effectiveness they're going to have. So if you have, really need to cut down your aileron effectiveness, you can move them in further inbound of the wing, inboard on the wing rather. All right, so there's ailerons. So we have ailerons, flaps, elevator, rudder. So we have our control surfaces all in. We're also going to use the pitch fin to keep from the center of thrust is up here. It's a higher than center of gravity, so we're going to try to tip our nose down. So we use pitch off of the propellers to counteract that. Yeah, pretty good. Let's go ahead and we'll do a quick float. So it flows beautifully now because of the glitch. Actually, did I not fix it? I didn't fix it. Okay, so I have to fix the glitch now. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do it around the center of gravity. So probably towards the very back of the nacelle here. So let's go ahead and grab a couple rocket nozzles here. Rocket boosters, whatever you want to call them. Stick them just right here is fine. All right, now I'm going to change the numbers to 0.9 or 99%, which is 0.99 when we get in the XML. All right, now I'm going to save it. And so I'm just going to save it twin seaplane rocket boosters. Okay, so I'm going to save it as that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my XML. All right, so XML is open here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll just do Control F and search for rocket, find next. Then right here, so the tail one's still in there. As you can see, the tail fuel factor is negative 200, so that's good. We're going to find the next one here. You see, where are we at here? Control surface, there it is right there at the end of the string. I like it how it just puts it all in one line instead of moving around, but whatever. So fuel factor right here, so I'm going to highlight that fuel factor of 0.99. That's the 2 that we just put in. I'm going to go paste that in there. Then I'm going to go to replace, and I'm going to change it with, they were negative 1,000. So I'm replacing all the 0.99s with negative 1,000. We're going to replace all. You'll notice it changed over there to negative 1,000. We'll go ahead and save this. And now I'll boot it back up in the game. All right, so we're ready to reload it. So here it is right here. Let's go ahead and spawn it. And as you can see, we're refloating here. It's having a little bit of an issue. Let's see if it settles down and behaves itself. So it appears that they are, what are they? Are they too far back? They are too far back, so I need to move them forward, so probably towards the front of the nacelle. So every time I touch them, that's going to cause problems. Actually, you know what I can do? I wonder if let's try something really quick. So we might be able to just do it with the tail here. So let me cut that tail down. All right, so back in the XML here. So I'm looking for the other one. So I'm going to click back on this where it says rocket or fuel factor. I'm going to do negative 200. That will show me the tail one. So find next. Here's negative 200 there. I'm going to replace that with, let's try negative 20. Okay. And we'll just replace that one there and save it, and we'll check it. All right, let's go ahead and spawn it. And as you can see, that's sitting better. So it was just by putting them, but when I moved them backwards, it was giving me too much buoyancy in the front, and so I could actually probably go even lower on the tail because I'm sitting very flat. Flat's not a bad thing actually, so I like it to favor the tail just a little bit, but that's not bad the way it's sitting right now. It's a little bit flat, so might cut that number down even more. But let's go ahead, and the nice thing about this too is using this glitch. I can jump up on the wing here, or the hips. I could stand on the hips. The hips can be much smaller, much better shaped. You see the water's not going to get in there now, so I can get in. I'm going to drop this floor by 1. That was something I decided as well. I don't need all this buoyancy anymore because of the glitch, so... You know, again, a lot of people have opinions on glitches, but, you know, again, at the end of the day, if it helps you have fun, you know, go ahead and do it, man. And you can see that's the rocket there. We don't want to touch it. If you touch things that are XML'd, it will return them to the default state. So you tend not to want to touch that type of stuff. Okay, just getting rid of extraneous blocks here. Okay, those need to be there. They don't necessarily need to be right there. Right, so here we are. This is going to be our new floor here, so I'm able to drop this down 1. And so that's all right. I have this sawtooth in here. That's fine because I'm going to actually put my fuel in there. So fuel was already in there. You can see that's where I was keeping the fuel. And so I'm going to go ahead and put my new floor in. All right, so this is nice. It allows me to have, you know, kind of a full floor as well. Don't have to worry about, you know, Make too many channels. So fuel is going to go in here. Can I cut down in here? I can. Okay, so all this is going to get cut. Oh, can't cut there. We're going to cut this channel here. Am I exposing it to the exterior? No, I'm not. Okay, good. So I'm just kind of making more space for fuel here. And that's going to, so this is the wall here where I'm going to come down. And then, so this whole belly is going to have fuel. I don't generally need a ton of fuel in these airplanes. I can also sawtooth this floor here, and that will give me even more fuel capacity. So we'll see where we're at number-wise. I don't want to really need a ton of fuel in this. So that would definitely need to stay. Okay, and then, yep, I want a wedge. And I'm just trying to get as much fuel in this bad John as I can get. Which is probably actually if I grab this. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, so, and then probably this section of the floor here, I'll probably cut. And, you know, I can always leave it as air. I don't need to necessarily push a ton of fuel in here, but I can if I need to. And that's always a nice thing is have it all set up for fuel. And then if I don't end up needing all that fuel, I can, you know, get rid of it. So that needs to be there. This can go. That puts a little bit of fuel in the tail. That's fine. I'm not really upset by that. That will be fine. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting in half blocks in here. All right, so that's the start of the floor, and then I'm going to put half blocks here, and that's going to allow me to put fuel in my hips. That's going to keep the center of gravity nice and low, which will make it so it doesn't want to roll over as much. Actually, is that my floor there? No, this is the right floor height here. Okay. So that needs to be, this needs to be whole blocks here. That's fine, right there like so. And I don't want any fuel going on the nose, especially. That's really start moving the center of gravity. This just gives me, you know, as long as the fuel is reasonably, ideally we want it by the center of gravity, but as long as we're not shifting that center of gravity too much with the fuel, we should be fine. And I'm going to go ahead, put in full fuel, and I will also check it and test it. So here's my whole fuel cavity. You can see it's nice and pretty bulbous. What's this? Can I cut this? I can. So this is all just extraneous block. That can be cut. This cannot. All right, and then these are probably 1x2s. Yeah, they are. Okay. That's a 1x4 there. That's a 1x4. What are you? You can be cut into half blocks here. Okay, that needs to stay. And then this will go like that. All right, so this wall section can be cut to, where can it be cut to? Here, here, right about there probably. And so I'm just trying to, you know, again, this is either going to give us air ballast, which will help with buoyancy, or it can be fuel. And so by just building it in now, it just makes it so much easier. All right, so these tanks will they auto level? Yep, because the channel's running this way, they'll auto level, or they'll cross feed. Let's put it that way. Okay, good. Right there is good. Where are we at here? That stays. This stays. What do you? You can cut. You have to stay. So that's going to cut. This will be our. Let's see. I'm going to go symmetry off. Actually, no, I don't want the filler there. Let's go ahead and put spawner. And I want 2 tanks. I want them independent. And part of the reason is you get an exacerbated roll. So if the fuel can run from all the way from the port to starboard, it makes it harder for you to stay level. And so what we want to do is right in the center block here, if I can find it. So right about, oh, I don't know, there. I'm actually going to get rid of all that tail fuel anyway right now. All right, so right there. Just put a solid block there. And then, so this is going to catch a, where, am I in the center? I need to put symmetry back on so I know what I'm doing here. All right, so this here is going to get a solid all the way up, and the reason is that will keep it from sloshing forward back, or sloshing from port to starboard. We don't want that. That just makes it so that it's less stable, as we can get all the fuel on one side. Now we essentially have tanks port and starboard, and so that's going to help us. And then I'm just going to punch in right here with a couple meters. That way I can check them while we're sitting here. I can check both tanks. So I'm curious what our volume is going to be. All right. And as you can see, it's shifting the buoyancy again, so I will work on that. So I probably want to actually shift the two rockets forward. You know, as I add different things, it's gonna change where these should be. So kind of expect. So we're holding 4,187 on the. You know what actually it is? It's probably fine. I bet we have one tank full because it likes to fill one tank. So that's 4187. What's on this? Nope, maybe not. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what it is. It filled one side, it didn't fill both sides. So that's 4187. I'll put a cross-feed system. So we have 4187 on one side, and this one's showing a capacity of 0, so there's a hole in this side, apparently. That would do it if there's a hole in this side. I thought I made them symmetrical, so I don't know where up right here. Okay, why did the spawner not go in there? So not only did it, oh, I took off symmetry. Let's see if this sits nicely now. So as you can see, we definitely don't have enough. We have too much buoyancy in the tail and not enough up front. So I'll probably move those rockets a little bit further forward. Maybe not. I think they're right here. So now let's go ahead and go in. So probably have like 4180 each side. So that's a good bit of fuel. So that's about 8,000 liters. What's on this side? Why this side is bigger, I don't know. So okay, good to know. So once we get fuel in there, once I get all this all kind of figured out, you know, I'm gonna redo the rockets to, the rocket glitch to kind of redo the buoyancy on here. So lowering the seat's gonna be nice and helpful. I want to see my seating position here. Probably feels like I'm sitting just a hair low, but I don't mind that. And I don't need ultra visibility. You know, as a professional pilot, I can intuit how it needs to fly. Yeah, this is fine. I've got good visibility all around. Good gauge visibility there. I'm good. So that's fine with me. All right, nice. I really like the shape of this. All right, and then so let's kind of work a little bit. Actually, I can almost kind of walk through there. All right, so let's start working on some stuff in the back here. So we'll do single row seating back here. You have to come up with some sort of system to get down from the wing. So right about, let's see, just stick some block in there for now. See, all this double layer here can be replaced with microcontrollers too, which is really convenient. There's our back wall going into our tail. Often you'll put your avionics in the tail as well. All right, so that's good. So I could put double seating there, but I can't walk down a single row. So what's going to happen is it's going to be seating on one side. So that will be how it's set up. I could do wall seating, but I don't really want to. I kind of want to do it. I'd rather do one side seating than have the seats up against the walls. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and I think I have seats. I'm just going to stick these up here for now. All right, and so this is actually good. I can put armrests in here too now. Yeah, so what's that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See if we can get 10 seats in. It's a pretty good haul. Pretty good haul capacity there. I'd be content with that. And then, we're going to have to move some for, like, let's see, what do we want to do here? I want to put the cockpit door there. It's going to move out, so we need 3 slot there. So first seat could be about 3 blocks in. So probably right there. Sit a little bit low in here, but we could do a step down cockpit. That's not the worst idea. Where's my head sit here? So that's actually not too bad. I could put windows. Yeah, see, that's actually, the windows would line up right here. That's fine. I don't mind that. All right, so that's good there. Let's go ahead and paste. And then I don't know if I like the armrests. And then, okay, so this is going to be all screwy with. So I just need to pull one for the door, I think. So right here. Good, cut you out. I have to renumber these anyway, so it's not a big deal. That's perfect. That just the door works like that, and then this one's extra trash seat, so this can go bye bye, bye bye. Right. And then let's go ahead and grab everything here and just delete all this out. So kind of convenient just having a bunch of setup seats. They are numbered for Stormlink, but if I don't put them in order, they get unnumbered, or they I have to redo the numbers, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so that's nice. The seats are in. Just kind of give me a notion. So what do we have? 9. Oh, I put one back here. Crap. Let's go ahead. I should be able to get rid of this pretty easily. I didn't see this one, which is kind of annoying. I just have to rebuild the back here. Not too big of a deal, but it's, any rebuilding is kind of a pain. All right. Yeah, backwards. I thought it was backwards when I clicked on it. Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. There we go. All right, that's back in. And then I can put the back wall up. What is that in the way there? That was part of the seat. All right, so that gives us a good bit of seating capacity in there. We can also, I'm going to probably take some seats out and add things back here, supplies, whatnots. Maybe a bed for sleeping. I didn't mean to place that. Why did you do that? Let's see. All right. Didn't have symmetry on. Yay, joy. The nice thing too is I can kind of build up a lot of the decorations. Airplanes can be tough with building up your decorations because of adding a lot of mass. And so with this new glitch, it really helps me to be able to do things like this and build up and just add a lot of stuff and not be really afraid of the mass of it. All right, so that's pretty good there. And the seat, I think I want the seat to move back right up against where it can, as close to the door as it can get. Seems very lonely being all the way up there by itself. All right, nice. I probably am gonna have. Can I put a ladder in there? Probably not with the seat sitting right here. Yeah, definitely not. I need this space here for the seat. I'll figure something out with that. Probably have to delete a seat in the back and push them back. I'll just do that now. We can go back. You know what? I don't need to do that. So that all back together it is. Okay. I actually have one space behind the seat that this whole row can go back, and then that way I can move this whole row back one, and then I should be able to put ladders in. Do we have enough blocks? The ladders need 3. I might run into conflict running them across from each other. Let's see. So I might switch to one door. We will see. Can't ladder both doors. I want to go. Let me do it. Nope, it didn't. Symmetry. Symmetry's on. It won't let me do it because of that. So let's go across from there. Put one door. Might be able to get porthole windows in, which would be nice. Yep, you have enough space. I very rarely can get these portholes in because of space constraints, so it is kind of nice to be able to do it now. So I forget how. Let's stick it there. Let's stick them high. Sometimes it seems like they are actually better when you're sitting in the seat. I think my head sticks a little bit higher than I normally think it does. Here we go. Like having the porthole windows there. And then can we go across this seat here? I'm gonna have to probably get a little wonky with the orientation of the windows after this because of that door. So let's see. I need to come up with a number scheme. So third in. So third in goes there. Let's see. So we're doing two gap essentially. Then I might reorient the seats. I'm happy to cut out some more seats. I want to have more space for other things. So that's good right there, like so. I should have done symmetry. Oh, I didn't do symmetry because of the door. I would have screwed the door up, so that's fine. There, that actually works pretty damn well. So, yep, we just missed one on that side, so that's nice. Nice visibility on that. That's nice. I like that. That looks really good. And then most of the seats are sitting pretty well in there. This one can actually come up one now, so that's actually, I can move the whole, I just need to move this one up. The rest are kind of, yeah, I'll orient these out. That will be fixed. We'll fix those seats later. But that's looking pretty good, so we can easily get in and out of this sucker. Let's spawn it in. See how it's sitting. So again, I need to fix that rocket. The rocket's in the front there. Which isn't a big deal, but let's go and see how this feels. Kind of important to see how it feels. Nice, this feels really good. So yep, so yeah, you definitely want the window up higher. My head is above this headrest. I look at the headrest sometimes and I think, oh, that's where the head should be, and it's actually higher. So that's nice. See both sides, really nice. Has good visibility. That's one of the coolest things about the seaplanes is that you can kind of look out at the water. I don't think I can get a sliding door in here. I think I've put a custom one in here. Yeah, that's just not going to do. So, gonna put a corner piece there. I can't do one. Can I do one up here? I don't know. Nope, that can't go there. So that's a problem. Because, can I cut this? I can. Okay, good. So this can go in here for a custom door. So let's do door. Again, trying to kind of see the problems I'm going to have and try to head them off at the pass so that I don't have to deal with them later. All right, nice. And so they're going to be able to do that. Let's finish up this door. Nice. So this works pretty well. And so we need to pick a side for this to rotate on, which will be here. No issues on the side there. Beautiful. All right, let's finish the door up. What do I want? Where are you at there? Right there. Door frame. All right, so door is plumbed in. Plenty of swing range on that. That's good. Yeah, so this is coming along. Nice, nice, nice. So good bit of interior work on there. This is going to be a permanent water beast. I'm really liking this. This is coming out well. So I need to rebalance the rockets at some point, but I have my flaps in, I have my ailerons in. All that needs to be tuned up and everything, of course. But elevators, rudder, we have our two engines pretty much plumbed. Well, they have the basic elements to being plumbed. Let's put it that way. They're not, really plumbed up or connected to anything. Let's go ahead and try to knock in some fuel. So this is interesting here. So one thing I'm going to have to run fuel anyway. So I'm curious if I should just straighten these out. Because I'm going to have to run fuel down one anyway. So do I like that? No. Do I like that with a wedge? Probably not. It's going to probably look too thick. I don't hate it. It gives it a little bit of shape. It's not terrible. Yeah, it's not terrible. I don't hate it. Yeah, I like it thinner, but the other option is this. See, like I'm not all that crazy about it, the angle on that, because it has a very slight angle on the real one. Trying to think what I could do. That's not going to work. Let's try something else here. Let's try this for a second. Could XML a 1x3 and fix that up nicely, but that I dig. I like that. That's very smooth. And then what I'll do is do a central pipe. It'll just look like one pipe. It'll be like, yep, that's the plumbing for it to go down. Because I actually kind of see some stanchions in there, and so yeah. And then I'll just run a fuel. See if I can't run a fuel pipe down the center. Where can I go here? Actually, can I? No. Can't run a fuel pipe down the center, but I can run one here. So this is actually not too bad. I can run one. Where are you at there? The door is there. Of course, the door is there. You know what? Well, let's run it asymmetrical right here. And then I can run under the floor to join them. That's not a big deal. All right, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So, like so. All right, and that's just looks kind of like a detail. It's not a big deal, you know. Yeah, I like that. I dig that. I can dig it. Yes, that'll be my fuel connection. So that'll work. A lot of design work can be done still. Let's see, what else do I want to do here? Liking the shape a lot. The shape came out nice. Trying to think what else. I don't want to get into microcontrollers right now. We're up on time here anyway. Let's do a couple of details that we have to do anyway, and I will go ahead and get finishing up there. Let's do a couple things here. So do indicators here. Put a beacon on there. Might as well color those in while we're at it. The other one's going to be the strobe. All right, nice. So we have our strobes, we have that. Let's go ahead and we'll color up the beacon. Nice. Content with this under here. So that can't, ooh, this is a little bit obnoxious to me that this high top here, I can't operate. I can't cut in here. Not really anything I can do about it, which is fine. So might put something there and then cut in here. We have plenty of space for paneling in here, so I'm just going to throw in some blank paneling in here, just kind of get a head start on it. You know, a lot of it's going to end up being monitors, as I like to use that kind of, I forget who makes it, the 6-pack setup. Okay, maybe eventually I'll get the rotation right here. There we go. That's not bad, having one there. Because we're sitting in the middle too, so it's not a big deal. And then this, it's my overheads there. And then we have room for paneling on the side, throttles, all that good stuff. So that's one of the reasons I did this where it's a single pilot. Trying to think the color scheme I want. Let's see. I don't want to, I hate color swap. Let's just do a paint job on here really quick. Let's do a little bit of paint to finish up the episode. Thinking silver. Come on. Get on there, symmetry. And this is a little bit obnoxious here to try to get the panel. What I can do here is I often do this too, is color the whole, because you do this for anti-glare. You wouldn't want the, it gives you contrast and you don't get glare, and as you're looking at the nose, you don't want it to blind you as you're trying to look at your gauges. So that's actually something they often do, is have a little black anti-glare paint there on there. So we'll anti-glare that. That takes care of that issue. And when we get to a flat side, I'll probably end up using the bucket, but I'm going to probably regret using the bucket. This bottom is going to get repainted a different color, but all right, let's bang the bucket out here and get a little bit of color on this sucker. It's going to be our base color. I'll come back and I'll do some other coloration. But it's coming along. You know, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's going to, you know, I don't have any ready microcontrollers. Like, I really make all my stuff bespoke, and as much as a pain as that's a pain, you know, by bespoke, I just mean that it's made particularly for that one vehicle. You know, I'll take some microcontrollers and I'll tweak them, you know, so like even some of my builds, they say, you know, Stormworks Basics this or that as I used, you know, Stormworks Basics microcontroller, but they tend to be made pretty much for that particular vehicle, and so I find that to be really helpful because they work better when you do that. As much of a pain as it is that you have to kind of start over again every time, but it does make it work. So simulated boots on here, so pneumatic anti-ice or de-icing rather. They're de-ice, and then let's go ahead and tend to do my wings kind of this gray color. Control surfaces. Like so. And we'll put anti-ice boots on the tail. Horizontal tail plane there. Probably do that body color. The engine nacelle is body color. Do black windows. So I always like to throw a little paint on here. It just really starts to bring the build alive. Like it looks like you just started until you put a little bit of paint on there, and then it really starts to come alive, I find. What is that? How did I screw this up here? Okay, and then under here it's going to be this color. That keeps the glare down. Nice. This is really looking good. I like this. Starting to come along. Alrighty, so that's looking really good. I'm liking this. Put this in the world. We'll kind of take a look at it. It needs a stripe, needs a belly color. So what do I want to make the belly color? Hmm. Oh, come on. Let's see what this color looks like in the world. The nice thing is once I color like the contrasting color there of the belly, a certain color, I can just color swap it. So that really helps get that where I want it. And how far to go out on these? That's the question. Around like that, maybe? Or probably like this. Go a layer down on this here. It's not bad. Curious to see what this actually looks like in the world. It's hard to tell what the color is going to look like until you get it in the actual game world. You see what it looks like. All right, and then I need a contrast stripe. So I think I'm going to do my kind of my bronze color here. Nope, I didn't mean to do bucket. Kind of digging this. I just curious how this is going to look when I get it in the world. And then I could do a bunch of. See, I can't go through any of these windows, so that's not going to work. So that's actually beneficial. It cuts through there. Could do a second one up here. I don't know how I feel about that. No, the window's cutting it just doesn't look good. Maybe a different color there. Burgundy's going to be too dark. Cutting the windows just doesn't look good. I can easily color swap this red back out for the silver. Just kind of looking at it, seeing if I can do a dual stripe and not have it look goofy. Color, the colors can either be color swapped. So if I find a combination of colors I like, I can go with that. But I just want to kind of see what it looks like in the world. I'm actually kind of digging that. It's not looking bad. It's a little bit on the festive side, you know. So that kind of that silver metallic color I look, it's just off of white enough that it looks pretty good. Dark wings, that gray wings. Looking a little goofy, the coloration on there. I'll have to come up with something. Let's try something really quick. Go ahead and we will color swap out that. That looks pretty handsome there. The blue I like on the belly. Stripe is nice. I like the stripe and having the little barrier between the stripe. That looks pretty good. So this is coming along really well. Coloration looks good. The wing is good. I like this thin, straight wing. Again, this is not a super fast plane. It's not intended to be fast. It doesn't have a super sweep on this wing. Let me see if I screwed up the rockets. Let's go ahead and save this really quick. So where are we at here? Let's go to this one, and I'll pull that one up. All right, so let's take a little looky-loo at this, and let's look at all our values, make sure that I didn't screw anything up. So fuel factor, I'm just going to delete that so that I can look at all that. So find the next one. This one, again, I hate the way this wraps. So that's negative 1,000. I guarantee, yeah, I didn't have 10,000 in there. I think it's just where they're placed. Find the next one. Negative 1,000. Let's try one thing, and then if this doesn't help, which I don't think it will. Where's the last one here? Did I screw up? There's the third one right here. Where the hell is it, dude? Fuel factor negative 20 right here. Let's dump that down to, I don't know, 5. Quickly save it. And we'll bring it back. All right, so let's spawn it. And so all I did was I cut the tail buoyancy down a little bit. So that's not fixing it. So I need to put a little bit of buoyancy towards the nose. All right, so let's work on that. All right. Where are these? Are these in the back? These are not in the back. These are in the front here. Nope, where did... Oh, I deleted them. I deleted them. That would be... Oh, no, they're right here. Crap. Okay, so they're on the back. They're going to go towards the front now. Those are going to get deleted, and then they need to come up here. So they'll come to the front of the nacelle right here. So it's also like a tripod. Yeah. Sometimes beneficial, right? It appears it's beneficial to have them at the center of gravity. Oh, come on. And then just move these to, try to keep them 0.99 just because they're easy to find. 0.99. Okay, let's save this as this one. And I'll meet you back in Notepad. All right, so we're back here. Let's see. So they should be a 0.99. Okay, I don't want to replace them with negative 1,000. Replace all. Okay, save that, and let's reload. All right, nice. So the nose section is floating perfectly now. I just need to put the tail back to where it was. All right, so I think I have this pretty perfectly set up here. So the numbers I'm using is negative 1,200 on the two in the front, and I have it as negative 500 in the back. And so you see, this is gonna be a nice realistic float. We just have the curve coming out of the water there. The hips are nice and up and out of the water. Our tail is up and out of the water. So let's go ahead, and the nice thing with this too is because it's giving us negative gravity, i.e. buoyancy, we can jump on here, on the hip. So one of the reasons I had to really kind of retweak the numbers, English language speak, is, I added a bunch of fuel. And so all that fuel mass is in there. I had to account for that. Move things around, change the center of gravity. So might have to do some ballasting in here, but see it's sitting beautifully. So that's really good. Let's get in here really quick. I can't open the door yet, so I'm going to quickly kind of sit. Yeah, I wish I could use these spaces, but it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I could probably put a PFD hanging down there if I can. Plenty of space. I could see this one gauge here, so these will probably be my startup gauges there. I also have all these side panels. A lot of this is going to be monitors. This is kind of bugging me in here, but I'm not redoing the nose for it. You know what I could do? I could drop my seat back one. Let me try that really quick. The nice thing is the door opens out into the cabin. So let's go zing like that. That's the nice thing about one of the reasons I wanted the single cockpit is often I find I'm really trying to cram crap in here when I'm not doing a single cockpit. And so by having a single pilot cockpit, it really helps me to not have to cram stuff in as much. I don't want symmetry on for these. It screws up my numbers. I'm going to end up trading some of them out, but if I want to use them, I don't want the numbers artificially backwards here that I have to screw with. All right, nice. So that will give me a little bit extra range as well. Oh, come on, don't do that. I hate color swap. Really is dangerous. All right, nice. That gives me a better panel. Plenty of gauges. Do a HUD. So you end up using one of Sky's PFDs. Does that have to be this way? No, yeah, it has to be this way. So that's kind of set up nicely. That might be too high like that. I might want it down here. I'll get it back in the cockpit and we'll see which one I'm looking through. Starting to see a lot of HUDs in airliners now too. They've been in there for a little while. They were in corporate jets first. Usually they get all the toys, the bells and whistles and toys. Yeah, so this is the one I'm going to want to look through. But nice. I like we're sitting kind of low in this. That's kind of that feeling of a seaplane. But this is really, I'm really happy with this. This is coming out. I've been wanting to build this for a while. Should have no problem running the systems. So next, I don't know if we'll work on this exactly next episode, but we'll go ahead and when we do work on this, I need to put in the main thing is going to be engine controls, get those up and running because that lets me get into flight characteristics. Once I can get into kind of flight characteristics, we can see how it flies. It should fly great. I've done many a seaplane now. I've had no issues, so I think we're moving along pretty well. So I really like how this has turned out, and I will see you guys in the next one.